7 seasons there in Dallas.
Ezekiel Elliott has no more guaranteed money left on his contract.
We're getting $10.9 million in cap savings by designating him as a post-June 1st cut.
The Cowboys are releasing Ezekiel Elliott.
I know what I originally said, and I stand by what I said in regards to the Ezekiel Elliott situation, but that doesn't necessarily mean that this is an easy video to make. There's a lot that we need to discuss here, not only in regards to Ezekiel Elliott, but also in regards to Odell Beckham Jr., in regards to what the Dallas Cowboys have been doing this offseason so far, and some exciting things that are on the horizon for this team, some things that they're doing right, and at the same time, some things to be a little nervous about. So before we get to the content, man, we've been crushing it on the channel lately, and as my means of giving back to you guys, running a giveaway on my Twitter account for the moment that Aaron Rodgers gets traded to the New York Jets. We're going to be giving away multiple winners, $120 each. On top of that, every Friday, I'm going to announce a $300 giveaway on my community tab for every subscriber that turns on our notifications on this channel. Now that we got all of that out of the way, work! So here's an update as to how we're doing financially so far. I've made $5,407 so far, but it seems like my followers have been having significantly more success than I have. For example, my man Jess2K was able to make $800 by putting up $80. My man Anthony was able to make $1,250 off of putting up $50. And we're about to ramp things up because it's March Madness, bro. So if you haven't played Prize Picks and you want to make some money with us, all you have to do is go to Prize Picks, download the app, and use my promo code Mikerophone, and they'll give you an additional $100 when you deposit $100. I post pics each and every day onto my Instagram story. I've been doing a lot of research on this recently to try to get us an edge. I've been learning a lot about this niche, by the way, and it's been a lot of fun learning about it, and I highly recommend it. It's a great way to get some action in some games that you may not have been paying attention to. So download Prize Picks and use my promo code Mikerophone to get up to a $100 deposit match, and thank you, Prize Picks, for the sponsor. Mic check 1 2 1 2. What's going on, everybody? Man, I really reminisce about the time that the Dallas Cowboys were dominant, which was when I was 1, 2, maybe 3 years old. But the one clip that really struck a chord with me was when Jerry Jones first purchased the Dallas Cowboys, and he gave one of the most electric speeches I've ever seen. I mean, this is literally like Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, WWE in his prime caliber of promotion. Watch.
I just want to say this. There is no substitute for winning. I know that's a cliche, but we must win. We will win. Win is the name of the game.
What happened to this version of Jerry Jones? What happened to the competitor that was devoted to winning Super Bowls for the Cowboys? It seems like that was a thing of the past, because for the past 27 years, the Cowboys fan base has been reduced to a franchise that just parodies and jokes about how this year is our year. But I have to admit, despite me being the most pessimistic Dallas Cowboy fan on YouTube, there's a lot of reasons for optimism. The Cowboys have made a lot of mistakes in the recent years, primarily giving Ezekiel Elliott a monster contract extension. We discussed why this was a horrific mistake, and I think they've learned from their mistakes, and I'll tell you how. But we brought up this chart the last time we made a video on the Dallas Cowboys in regards to the leading rusher on Super Bowl winning teams and how much their base salary was. If you go all the way back to 2022, the Super Bowl winning leading rusher for the Chiefs was Isaiah Pacheco. He made $870,000. The Rams had Cam Akers on a similar type of contract the year before. The Buccaneers had Leonard Fournette the year prior on a much more expensive contract, $2 million. And then the Chiefs the year prior had Damian Williams on $1 million. The Patriots in 2018 had Sony Michel on a $480,000 contract. The Eagles in 2017 had LeGarrette Blount on a $900K contract. And the Patriots the year prior had the same player on a $760,000 contract. The last player that actually made a significant significant amount of money by being a leading rusher for their team in the Super Bowl was Percy Harvin in 2013, but I will admit that technically is cheating because the main running back for the Seattle Seahawks back then was Marshawn Lynch, and he was making significantly more than anyone else on this list, but he didn't lead that Super Bowl in rushing. And then you go to 2012 and 2011, Ahmad Bradshaw made $1.5 million, Ray Rice made $2 million. But with that being said, I think we could all agree that it isn't the boldest statement to suggest that paying a running back any amount over $2 million a year or $2.5 million a year isn't a recipe for success for winning a Super Bowl. That's money that could be allocated in different areas. It could go to your cornerback, your edge rusher, your left tackle, or your quarterback, or your wide receivers. Any other position but the running back make a lot of sense because it's been a while since we've seen a running back making that type of money and winning a Super Bowl. Well, for some reason, the Cowboys looked at this data and said,
you know what? Who cares? Let's pay Ezekiel Elliott $15 million a year annually and sign him to a 6-year, $90 million contract.
That was a horrific mistake. As good as Zeke was, that still wasn't a decision that they should have made. But it seems like they've learned from that because they were in a similar situation this year with Tony Pollard. Tony Pollard outshined Ezekiel Elliott every opportunity he had with explosive runs throughout the year. He was supposed to be the complement to Zeke. Zeke was supposed to be the pass blocking running back, whereas Tony Pollard was supposed to be the gadget weapon that was able to get you explosive plays when you needed it. Tony Pollard clearly outshone Ezekiel Elliott, especially when he was injured in the divisional round and the Cowboys needed Ezekiel Elliott to give everything he had. Now, Zeke was injured, of course. He was dealing with injuries throughout the year, at least according to Des Bryant. That's what the situation was. But what I'm trying to say is the Cowboys were in a similar situation with Tony Pollard, who could have potentially got a huge salary during the offseason, but they elected to franchise tag him. That's the smart way to go about it. You don't know when a running back's going to fall off. They sustain the most contact per year out of every player, and they depend the most on their athleticism. So you don't really know how long they're going to be good for. When they are that good, you're probably best franchise tagging them, and I expect the trend to be running backs being very content with getting a franchise tag. Getting paid that amount of money is significant, and if you leverage that properly, it could result in generational wealth. But that's not the only intelligent decision that the Cowboys made this offseason. They signed breakout safety Donovan Wilson to a 3-year deal worth $24 million with the first 2 years fully guaranteed. They're currently in negotiations to bring back Dante Fowler. They recently made a trade for Stephon Gilmore, giving up a 5th-round pick for the former Defensive Player of the Year. And Stephon Gilmore was pretty solid for the Indianapolis Colts last year, although his age suggests otherwise. We've seen so many cornerbacks play well into their 30s and still be very, very successful. And then there's the Odell Beckham Jr. rumors that we're gonna touch on in just a sec, because the very first piece of information that I gotta give you guys that obviously breaks my heart, even though it wasn't the greatest contract to begin with, is the fact that the Dallas Cowboys decided to officially release Ezekiel Elliott. Yes, it's official. Ezekiel Elliott will no longer be a Dallas Cowboy. This was first reported by Adam Schefter and Ian Rappaport. We even have a statement in regards to the situation. But Ian Rappaport, end of an era. The Cowboys have informed former NFL rushing champ Ezekiel Elliott that they are releasing him. Per me and Tom Pelissaro, he'll be designated as a post-June 1st release to create cap space. To give you an idea about the financial incentive for the Cowboys to do this, by designating Ezekiel Elliott as a post-June 1st cut, the Cowboys will have $10.9 million in salary cap space with $5.8 million in dead money. His contract will stay on the books until then, but he's free to sign with the team at any time. I want you guys to be very aware that not only is NFL free agency just littered with really remarkable halfback talent. I mean, Leonard Fournette's still available. Miles Sanders just left the Eagles to sign with the Panthers. David Montgomery also recently signed a brand new contract. You still have Kareem Hunt and Damian Harris that I believe is available. Jamal Williams just signed a brand new contract. Rashad Penny just joined the Philadelphia Eagles, and to be honest, I'm a little scared of that. James Robinson just signed with the Patriots. But on top of that, if you just think about it, this is one of the deepest NFL drafts at the running back position. I mean, at the very top, you have Bijan Robinson, and that's if you want to spend a first-round pick on a running back. If not, Jahmyr Gibbs is later on. You also have Zach Charbonnet, Dwayne McBride, Tank Bigsby, Kendre Miller, IJ Spears. There's a lot of depth in this year's NFL draft, so it makes sense moving on from your previous running back over the past 7 years that has lost a bit of a step for a brand new running back. Now, does this mean that the Cowboys can't bring Ezekiel Elliott back? I think there's a chance. I mean, we're gonna have to wait and see. It really depends on what the market for Zeke is. It really depends on how upset he is about the situation he's in, but I don't think he's really that upset at the Dallas Cowboys, because when you look at it, Ezekiel Elliott Elliott is the second highest paid running back in NFL history. Just take a look at this. The top highest paid running back is Adrian Peterson, and then you have Ezekiel Elliott, Edgerrin James, Frank Gore, Reggie Bush, Tom McCoy, Emmitt Smith. The fact that Emmitt Smith is on this list is wild considering like the era he played in. That's insane. LaDainian Tomlinson, and of course Marshawn Lynch. I don't think Ezekiel Elliott's upset about this situation. I think there's a chance that they do bring him back, but at the same time, there is a bit of a market for him. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers just let go of Leonard Fournette. They're expected to be interested in Ezekiel Elliott once he's released, which, by the way, we do have a video on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers coming out next. If this gets to 3,000 likes, we'll do a double upload day today. But I think it's important that we hear from Jerry Jones himself about the situation.
Zeke's impact and influence is seared into the Cowboys franchise in a very special and indelible way. He has been a consummate professional and leader that set a tone in our locker room, on the practice field, and in the huddle. Zeke defined what a great teammate should be, and anyone that has ever played a team sport would be lucky to have a teammate like Zeke and be much better for it. His commitment and passion for winning is selfless, and the accountability he brings every day earned the respect of our coaches, his teammates, and our entire organization. He wore the Dallas Cowboys star with pride and purpose every single time he put it on, and we're a better franchise because of the example he set for our veterans and rookies alike. That carried over into our community as well, with Zeke's generosity and spirit about giving and caring for others. We have mutually agreed with Zeke that the best decision for everyone is that he will be able to experience free agency, and we can increase our flexibility and options as well. This is one of the toughest parts of operating a football team. Moments like this come, and extremely difficult decisions and choices are made for the franchise, for me personally, for players too. We will always have a special place and love for Zeke and what he means to our Cowboys family, both as a person and a player. That will never change.
So one might wonder, how does Dak Prescott feel about all this? Well, we have a video about his direct reaction. It's really sad.
Yeah, it really is. It's tough. A brother, playing the game with a brother, being able to start this NFL career and share so many memories and grow up as men with this organization. I really can't imagine taking the field without him. Something I don't know if it's completely hit me yet. Obviously, I've talked to him. I'm hurt. I'm sure he is, but it's more important for me just to be able to support him. I know he's got more opportunities coming his way, and love that guy, proud of him. Number one supporter in here for him no matter what.
Honestly, I don't think I've been this sad about a Dallas Cowboys player being released since we cut Dez Bryant. Ezekiel Elliott was a whole era for the Dallas Cowboys. I mean, in 2016, Dak and Zeke came to the Cowboys franchise and completely rejuvenated our fan base, and we had some great memories with him. I hope he ends up on another team, but at the same time, I don't necessarily think he needs to. I think he did his thing. I think he made a lot of money in a state with no income tax, and I'm sure he could reflect on his NFL career with a huge smile on his face. Now, at this point, you might be wondering what's going to be next for the Dallas Cowboys. What are their plans at this point? Because it seems like they're doing a lot of stuff just to free up money. They didn't extend Dak Prescott like Stephen Jones initially said. They restructured him, which means Dak Prescott might need to prove himself over the next couple of years. So things are getting a little spicy for the Dallas Cowboys, I must admit. So what are their plans? What are they trying to do at this point? Well, they've been linked to two very high-end wide receivers. One being DeAndre Hopkins, who has flirted with the Cowboys openly on Twitter, primarily because he's been hanging out with Dez Bryant. If you remember when Odell Beckham Jr. was making his rounds a couple months ago, he was spending a decent amount of time with Dez Bryant as well. But honestly, any team could trade for DeAndre Hopkins at this point. It wouldn't cost them a lot of money to do so. I think it would just have a lot to do with how much he's willing to restructure his contract or how much money he's looking for in his next contract. We already know Jerry Jones loves to make those big splashes like he did at Stephon Gilmore just a few days ago. The second plan is going to be a plan that we're all too familiar with. That's Odell Beckham Jr. I don't necessarily think one is a backup plan and one is plan A and one's plan B. I think they're doing their homework and looking into both scenarios. And the latest update we have on Odell Beckham Jr. is originally he held a workout for a bunch of teams and he looked really damn good in those workouts. For some reason the Dallas Cowboys weren't there, but regardless, according to Jordan Schultz, who's been having one hell of a offseason as an insider, two-time All-Pro wide receiver Odell Beckham Jr. has had positive discussions with the Cowboys. There are several teams interested, but the Dallas Cowboys would like to make it work, and I'm told that OBJ is seeking a multi-year contract. Now, the rumors are that OBJ wants about $15 to $20 million a year for his services. I don't necessarily know who would be willing to pay OBJ that amount of money after him being away from football for the amount of time that he's been away from football for. At the same time, this could be Odell Beckham Jr.'s final opportunity to secure a large contract. So it's a very interesting situation to be in, and I'm not necessarily going to speculate here. I'm thankful that the Cowboys seem to be making good moves. They restructured the contract of DeMarcus Lawrence, Zach Martin, Dak Prescott, and Michael Gallup. This should allow them to go after some better free agents and really make a push to try to capitalize off of this remarkable defense. So hang on tight, because there has to be a reason that they're trying to free up all this room, and we'll keep you guys posted as it goes down. Let me know what you guys think about the Dallas Cowboys' latest decisions. And aside from that, I'm your boy Mike, and I'm dropping our mic until our next upload.